to one another. First, by our mortality. No matter how rich or successful you may be, I've got bad news for you. No matter how rich or successful you may be, no matter how many great sermons you might try to write, or best-selling novels, no matter what political office you may hold, in the face of the power of time, you are just as fragile as a child in the grip of a flood, or an old building brought down by an earthquake. We are all mortal. We are also bound together by our hopes and dreams for our lives. Deep down, we all want to live, to know love, to share life, to give and receive, to celebrate the sacred mystery of existence, and to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And ultimately, no matter who we are or where we are on the planet, we share the same hopes and dreams. We are one. It's as the Apostle Paul put it a long time ago. There are varieties of people, each one of us gifted in unique ways. But all of our gifts have one purpose: to serve the common good, to serve not ourselves, not our friends, nor only those who look like us, but to serve the good of all. So our understanding, our vision of the world, the way we see each other, needs to change. A third way we're called to change is how we respond to the needs of others in the world. Tragedies like these highlight the incredible inequity and injustice that exists in our world. Though we are all the same, we don't have anything close to the same opportunities. We don't even have anything close to equal access to the most basic necessities of life itself. All too often, when disasters strike, most of the people who will die and suffer are also some of the most vulnerable people on the planet. Fried Zakaria once said, "In poor countries, natural disasters are not earth-shattering news. It's not that people don't value life deeply, but they have accustomed themselves to tragedy and to facing tragedy with limited media attention, cash-strapped governments, few local charities, and almost no insurance." In a sense, this is nothing new for many of these people. It's just that these big events finally get our attention. These people are our brothers and sisters. We have such brothers and sisters all over the world, and they die every day, not in such dramatic fashion. What can we do in response to this tragedy? We can change how we think about the world. We can begin small, step by step, to really live and act in light of the reality that we all are one family. We can summon the courage to look honestly at our world and our lives and ask how we might do it differently. Psalm 72 suggests that if God were ruler of the world, righteousness and peace would flourish, for the good ruler delivers the needy when they call, the poor and those who have no helper. The good ruler has pity on the weak and saves the lives of the needy. But apparently God is not like that, we say in frustration. Otherwise, these kinds of things wouldn't happen, wouldn't even exist. And we get stuck there, focused on how an old image of God, on our old image of God who will fix everything. But what if this passage, and really all the scriptures, are not so much about how God ought to be, but how we ought to be? What if faith is not about defining a God who is out there, but activating the presence of God within us? What if the preciousness of all God's children described in the psalm is meant to inspire the same divine understanding within us? What if we were to begin small step by small step to live and act as if our brothers and sisters across the earth, all of them, were precious? Inherently and utterly precious to us. What would that look like? What would it feel like? And where do we begin? Let this be the moment. Let this be the turning point when our world starts to change, because we do, because we finally begin to see, to believe, and to live in completely new ways.